Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Nick Slavik. I'm the proprietor of the Nick Slavik Painting and Restoration Company. I'm also the host of this show, Ask a Painter Live. It's a weekly live Facebook show where I use my 2 decades of experience as a painter, a restorationist, wallpaper hanger, colorist, and lover of houses, old and new, to answer any of your questions, whether you're a homeowner or whether you're a professional. We can talk about business, we can talk about coatings, application, anything in between, anything that has to do with beautifying these homes and the business of beautifying those homes. So today, special show. This is my, I consider myself very lucky. This is the second week in a row that I have been lakeside. I am here in the wilderness of northern Minnesota. I'm going to give you an update on the hashtag Cottage Cabin project. If you want to see all the progress, I started this last winter on this project, even a little sooner. Type in the hashtag Cottage Cabin, and you can see this this cabin up in northern Minnesota. It's brand new from the ground up, styled after a 19-teens, 1920s, and a little bit of a 1930s, what we would have a lakeside cabin up here. So I am up here with my family this week. The owner of the house is an artist, couple, and he basically cut down trees, milled all the woodwork, installed it, and then I came up here with my band of craftsmen, and we started finishing it. So basically, this is one of the first houses in the country that was completely finished with a Sherwin-Williams emerald urethane trim enamel. It was sort of, a little bit hush-hush at the time. They hadn't really released it. They sent me a whole bunch out. I partnered with Sherwin-Williams on this house to make it sort of a showcase home. There's hand-split oak shakes on the outside. We're going to use Sherwin-Williams process outside, yet to be determined by the homeowner. We're working on finishes. We used Sherwin-Williams processes all throughout. We primed all the walls. And I actually came up here alone and primed the walls way back when this was still a construction site in the middle of winter, frozen lake outside, below 0 temps. I primed the entire thing, and actually I walked out to the lake right outside here with my spear shack, and I speared the largest pike I've ever speared in my life. It's about 39 inches long. So that is at the taxidermist now, waiting to get stuffed. This is such a beautiful place up here. It's a tiny little lake. It's crystal clear. We're in the middle of the wilderness, and it just couldn't be more beautiful up here. So not only do we get to work on new construction, it's styled after a historic home, and it's in the wilderness of northern Minnesota. So, if there was a project, that I started my business for, if there was a prototypical project that I could say, here is the highest sort of realization of what my business can do, it would be a project like this. Not only are we doing some traditional finishes, some ultra-modern finishes that weren't even released to the public yet, but it's new construction, it's styled after a historic home, and we're up here in the wilderness. It combines just about every one of my loves in one thing here. So we got a bunch of questions here today, and it looks like somebody's wearing out their thumbs up button, probably Chris Shank. I'll walk you through a little bit here. I started outside to give you a walk around, and I lost signal and the feed cut off, so I moved it inside here. But we will go over the PDCA contractor question of the week here. This comes from Chris Blank, a painter from Prosper, Ohio. He says, you talk about customer expectations a lot. What are some of them, and how do you address the most common expectations? Basically, everything I have to do with customers is earning their trust. From the second they call, my business line and leave a message for me to contact them, there's basically a chain of events that happens for me to gain their trust. So you can think of all these specific expectations, like who moves the furniture, or do I need to take pictures down? And that's fine, and it's certainly address that later, but basically you have to think higher level when you go into this stuff. The goal of my business and my first contact with somebody is basically to earn their trust. So number one, wearing painting clothes, relatively clean painting clothes, but I like to have painting clothes with a little bit of paint on them. I try to give people an accurate representation of me and what I do. I keep relatively clean, but I do also paint, so I want to wear painting clothes that shows I actually work for a living. You want to be on time. You want to have a clean vehicle, easily lettered. I got logos on the shirt. I mean, obviously I'm not in my painting clothes today, but I have the logos right here, very clean. Everything is consistent. My ad in the newspaper, my social media feed, my trucks, my shirts, everything is consistent. So the logos aren't different. They can get, everything is consistent throughout there. Listen. From the second you show up at somebody's house, well, I should say when somebody calls, I basically have a 12 to 24 hour chain of event period where no matter what, I will get them on the books for an estimate or a consultation or whatever they need. Whether it's 2 months out, whether it's the next day, no matter what, you must contact them and immediately, because that's all that people want to know. Contractors are notorious for not calling people back, being a little bit lazy. Oh, I got a lot of work on the books, so I'm just going to sort of, we'll get to it. I don't really need the work right now. But all those homeowners want to know is that their call actually went somewhere, somebody actually saw it, and somebody's actually going to do something about it. Just call them back. Just get something on the books as an estimate. So I've moved all my estimates to Mondays now. So basically, I just schedule them for the next Monday I have. And, when I show up, basically, you just try to earn their trust. Listen to them. What they want to do is, this is going to be an exciting project for them. This is not, most of my projects are not, we had a tornado come through, our basement's full of water, please fix it. I'm not repairing a lot of stuff. People want to beautify their home, so listen to them. They want to describe the project and they want to talk color. If you have this sort of firewall between the business of your business and color consultations and things, I feel you're losing out. They'll describe their project and they're excited. They want to talk about color. Here's what I've been thinking. Here's this. That's why I never charge for color consultations. It's a way of sort of gaining their trust, because I know they always want to talk color anyway, and it would be very foolish of me to say, okay, I will get you the price for this bedroom. I can't talk color right now, or we'll do it at another time. They want to do that, and it gains their trust where you show enthusiasm for their projects, things like that. You want to describe their process, your process perfectly to them. That gains their trust. My whole estimate thing, our discussions go long. Sometimes it's only 10 minutes, sometimes it's an hour and a half. But basically, I just tell them, I write them on an estimate, I hand it to them instantly, and then I immediately walk them through it. Well, here's every room we looked at. Here's a price for each room. The price includes material and labors. I never charge for a color consultation, so here's my process. If you want me to do this, if you accept my estimate, I will put you on my to-do list a week or two beforehand. I'll call you back, and we will go over colors, we'll go over finishes, and we'll go over a definite time and date for your scheduled project. And when I get here, this is what it looks like. We show up at 8 a.m. for the interior painting. I'm going to have apprentices with me. We're going to set up a job site, and we're immediately going to start moving furniture. And then, I hit off all their questions, because they have a lot of open question, things they're wondering about. My 30-second walkthrough on the process basically takes care of all that. We move all your stuff, we lay all the drop cloths down, we patch everything, we double coat everything, we vacuum up behind all the furniture, we sweep up, we dust, we move all the furniture back, we vacuum, we sweep, we dust again in the middle, and we basically set you up exactly how we found you, just everything's a different color. After that, they have a few minor questions. It'll be, what if we had 3 colors instead of 1 in this room, or something like that. But basically, that's all they want to know. And if you have a consistent message like that, you gain their trust. And then there's a lot of expectations that they'll, the biggest thing, you can head off at the pass. They always want to know, is paint included? Just tell them beforehand. It eases their mind, and they have a lot of questions. You do this every day, but they do not. So just head off all those questions. If you have a minute or 2 minutes sort of speech or process you can walk them through, all those questions will be done. Most of the time, the only question I ever get is, when do you start? And then you sort of have to manage expectations of, when can you do it? Normally I'm backed up quite a ways, especially in summer. Trying to do interior work in the summer is a little bit difficult. I only do it on rain days. But honesty and trust. If you basically say, before I used to say, okay, I'll get to you as soon as possible. Well, that's a little misleading. I was being honest, but I wanted them to not feel like, oh, it's going to be 5 months from now. And technically that was as soon as I could get to them. So basically what I do now is, here's what I do in the summer, in the winter. This is one of the biggest expectations I have to manage right now. We want our whole house painted. We just bought it. We want the whole inside painted. When can you do it? We're moving in a week. And then I'll tell them, well, there's always enough room for, there's always enough time for interior painting during the year. We never have a shortage of time for that. There's always a shortage of time for exterior painting. So every nice day it's physically not raining on us, whether it's 40 degrees or 110 degrees, we will be outside doing exterior painting. So, and they can understand that, you know, if you be honest with them about that. And then you can say, well, but I do have a whole bunch of jobs for rain days. If we have colors down, and if you don't mind 24 to 48 hours notice, we can get your job, colors, finishes picked, processed down, and all we have to do is wait for the short notice call. And if they accept that, what I always do is I always ask for the homeowner's input or have some decision for them to make. If you have them have a little skin in the game, not only do they take a little bit of ownership of the process, they will actually tell you exactly how they want it to be, and you don't have to make those decisions for them. So I'll basically say, that's how my rain day schedule works for interior work in summer. What do you think? Is that something you can do, or do you want to wait till fall? Or, you know, I completely understand. If no matter what, your house must be painted next week, I can't guarantee you those dates. I don't know if it's going to be raining. I completely understand, and I don't fault you for it. And that way, you know, you may not get that job now because of schedule, but in the future, they will remember this interaction, and you met their expectations, you headed them off at the pass, and you gained their trust. So even if it doesn't work out now, they have made a contact, they have a face-to-face meeting with you, and they may trust you with one of their projects later down the road. So that's sort of my goal with a lot of that stuff. Another thing that I do is, do not just meet the customer's expectations. In this description of your work, you have to describe to them how you're going to exceed it. So most people, surprisingly, do not expect me to move furniture when I get into a house or clean up after myself, which is pretty amazing. I've always done it. I've just taken it for granted. Again, it's one of those good or bad things about not having any input, you know, creating a business and then growing it. But immediately I just tell them, listen, this is what we do. If you want to move some tchotchkes, if you want to move a picture on the wall, if you want to do something like that, that's fine. Let me take care of the rest. Let me do the furniture. It's way easier for me to do it and get it in the right place than for you to try to shuffle things around, and we'll probably end up shuffling it around again. And then the cleaning part, just tell them, listen, we're going to set you up as good, if not better. You're going to go to work, you're going to come back, everything is going to be set up. Everything's going to be clean, vacuumed, mopped, swept, furniture back, and you're basically going to come home to a brand new colored house. So that's sort of what I do. Do not just try to answer their expectations. Beat them to it. Tell them your process, and if your process is better than their expectations, be forward with it right away. So Chris Blank, thank you so much for the question for this week, and thanks for the PDCA for bringing these to me. I get a little myopic sometimes. A lot of people ask me a lot of the same questions. I mean, I could basically have a sideshow off of this on cabinet painting. I get about 10 questions about cabinet painting every week, and they're good. It's just we cover it a lot, and the PDCA is now bringing us these sort of out of the box questions, something that I don't normally get through my personal feeds, and I really do appreciate it here. So also, if you guys have any questions for me during the show, type them here down below, and I will scroll through them at the end here. I got a couple more questions, and then maybe I can talk a little about the emerald urethane here too. So another question, these next two wanted to remain unnamed here and just lend their question to me. Landlords want me to forego prep and just paint it. This is another painting contractor here. How can I educate landlords about what a real paint job is, and how do you tackle this conversation? First of all, you may be trying to force something that is not even an option. Understand that in my experience with rental repaints, at least low to middle income rental repaints here, is that the determination of whether you get the job is based much more on price than of quality, and I think that's just self-explanatory. If when you have a landlord is basically saying, we don't want you to do any prep, just slap something on, all we need to do is rent this apartment again, and they have to keep the price down because that house is a business. So they're very, very price conscious. They don't really care about color, they don't really care about finish, they just need to turn it so that somebody else can get in there. So what I would say is that instead of beating your head against the wall trying to educate them about what a real paint job is, I would say, well, here's what I offer. This is what I do. This is my standard. I don't want to call it high-end because it's not for rich people. It's what the technical data sheets say to do with paint. This is how you really paint. Now, most contractors will do something less than that, and especially when you get into new construction and tenement repaints and things like that, it's the lowest of the low. So basically say then, instead of saying, well, hey landlord, here's what you need to do. You need to get the best paint you can. We need to prep all the walls. We need to get them all primed. We need to double coat everything. We're using highest quality finishes. That really doesn't matter to them. The walls are going to be so beat up that in 6 months they're going to have to repaint them again, and it really doesn't matter about the quality of the paint. So what I do is I offer them an A and a B option. I basically say, well, here's what I would offer, a lake home, a standard residence, this and that, and here's the best I can do for you. I can use a lesser quality paint. Maybe we can get by with 1 coat versus 2, but there's going to be a minimum of something in there, and then put it on them. If that still doesn't meet their requirements for time or money or something else, it's out of your control, and you're chasing work that you're not going to get anyway. So put it back onto them. Just like we talked about the expectations with the customers, put it on them. Don't say, well, hey, I'm a Cadillac dealership. You, for your taxi business, need to buy my Cadillacs. That will never work out. What they're looking for is something economical because it's a business. Don't educate them on that. Either find Tauruses to sell them, or just don't even get in that business at all. Let somebody else who wants to do quantity versus quality take that work. And I found that with some of the higher end rentals, some of the whole home rentals, some of the more trustworthy rentals, they do want the good stuff because they know that they're going to get a tenant in there for somewhere between 1 and 8 years, and they want that paint to last so that it can be washed instead of repainted. But in a lot of these places, they're just going to turn and burn. Every 6 months, there's going to be some rollover here, and all they basically need to do is cover up the big broad areas of the wall, ultra flat, and touch it up. So I would say offer them an option, or just get out of the game completely. Don't try to beat your head up against the wall and do that. Okay, another question here. This is a real interesting question. Can you recommend a business coach, and do you use one? I sort of use one. I have. It's not a board of directors really. I have a sort of trust panel, for lack of a better phrase for it, for people that I call upon, and they're people that I've known since childhood. They're local business owners, my accountant, my payroll people, my financial advisor, my lawyer. I find people that are okay with me bouncing ideas off of them, and I never expect them to do free work for me, but when we have our yearly or semi-year annual or whatever consultations, I also have my quick list of 3 business decisions, like large-scale 10,000-foot business decisions, that I just bounce off of them, not because I want their answer, it's because I want to gauge their reaction to it, and I also want to gain perspective. Like, what do they think about this on a large-scale thing? So it's one of those things where, if this was a more formal thing, you would pay people for their advice, and you would gather formally to do all this stuff. But, really, in effect, I have people that I know and trust and have not only a business relationship with, but a personal relationship with, and I bounce ideas off. Now, if you want a true business coach, if you want somebody to motivate you, give you systems, help you implement them, there are tons and tons of those. Certainly a good clearinghouse for them is the PDCA. And you can contact, Chris Shank, the education department, anybody else there. And there's associates with the PDCA that do that. But on a larger level, the question of should I get a business coach, or can you give me a business coach? I would say, again, I think about the 10,000-foot level. If you are not a very experienced painter, if there's still some holes in your game as far as creating the finest coatings or a consistent product for your homeowners, definitely work on that too. I'm not saying forsake your business to be a better painter, and I'm not saying forsake painting to be a better business owner. The easiest way to create a long-term, a business with a very, very good reputation is to be the best, be consistent with it, and then, run your good business too, because I know a lot of great painters that basically just can't get their payroll done, can't get their accounting done, can't plan for taxes, can't plan to buy vehicles and things like that. They're great craftspeople, but they just can't get the business end together. And on the same token, I've met a lot of people who are basically just business people, dabbling in the painting field, hoping that, it's basically assumed that, hey, we're a painter, we're going to create a standard product, everybody's good. Turns out not a lot of people are good. At least in my, you run into way more bad stories about painters than you do good, at least in my neck of the woods. So I would say, the big question for me, I thought a lot about this question this last week, because I love the idea of constant improvement, whether it's your painting processes, your business. This particular contractor is a young contractor, not very experienced in the trade so far, asking for a business coach. And I would say, I think you have a choice to make. Do you want to be a craftsman? Do you want to be a business owner? Or like I did, you can be both. I think it's an excuse if you say, well, listen, I'm not a business person. I can't get my handle around this. I'm just going to be a really good painter. Well, you're forsaking a lot of what makes you then a good painter. If your family's fed, if your mortgage is paid, if your trucks are paid off, and you're putting away for retirement, and you're fully insured, you're going to be a much happier painter and a much more patient painter than if you're always struggling an uphill battle every month to cover all your bills. So I would say this young contractor has a decision to make. Are you going to be a craftsperson? Are you going to be a business owner? Or are you going to be both? I think there's room to improve constantly. I mean, I've been doing this for over 2 decades now, and constant improvement, not only with the coatings, the processes, the handling the people, the apprenticeship program, and then just the nuts and bolts of running your business, constant improvement in that. So I'm still pondering this question here. I think it's a very good one. I think it's one that whether you know it or not, you're basically dealing with it as a business owner, a painting business owner every day. So kind of important to me. And I thought it was a very, very interesting question that kind of provoked some thought with me. So, so basically this project here, what you're seeing here is a house that's completely finished with emerald urethane. This is the satin. It's a little duller than most satins, especially if you have any experience with Benjamin Moore Advanced satin. Sometimes that can be even semi-gloss depending on the primers you use and the processes you use. But the main benefit of like a Sherwin-Williams Emerald is that it's a 4-hour recoat time, and this was the perfect project for it. I came up here, I'm away from my family, we're living in the wilderness in northern Minnesota. I brought a bunch of my senior apprentices with me. We slept here. It was 34 degrees one night. I was in my tent right down here by the lake, and basically we said we're going to work 14, 15, 16 hours a day to get this thing done. With Advance, there's a 16-hour recoat time, very high quality product. With the Sherwin-Williams Emerald, the 4-hour recoat time. So I thought, since we're up here, we came up here the first day. It took about a day of prep to get everything ready. We got true divided light double hungs. We took them all apart, disassembled them. All the walls were primed. We spent about a day of prep. The homeowner made all this woodwork by themselves. We filled everything. We sanded everything. We caulked all the cracks, everything, primed it all, sanded all the primer, shop vacked it, tack ragged it off. And then the next day we applied 2 coats of this enamel over the entire house. And we have beadboard ceilings. We have millwork, custom-made millwork. We have steel doors. We have regular wood doors. We have patio door. The entire house was coated twice in a day. And we were able to sand the enamel in between coats. So, for a project like this, we would have had to stay up another day if we were using Advance. With the Emerald, we were able to do it in a day. And then the next day, we turned around, frog taped it all, and then painted all the walls. So, very good process. The Emerald Urethane, I love the direction that all these hybrids are going in. I love the Advance. I love some of the breakthroughs, which they say is 100% water, but certainly smells like it's got some good resin in there. I love the hybrid stuff because quicker recoat time, safer for the environment, but theoretically still leaves you with that sort of traditional oil enamel, or at least the closest thing we can do it without going with a pure oil again. So it's a very encouraging thing. For me, perspective is everything. I think everybody approaches this emerald urethane trim enamel thing with the wrong question. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, that depends what you're doing. For me, I am not beholden to any one paint company. I like to pick and choose the best of everything that all these companies to have. For me, emerald urethane is now another sort of blade in my Swiss Army knife of painting. It does a specific thing, and to me, it's not, will this take the place of Advance? Because I love Advance. I actually painted my own kitchen cabinets with Advance this last week. I love this stuff, but I also love this emerald urethane. It is, for me, the satin is not the satin of Benjamin Moore Advance. It's a different shine. So basically, for me, it's not always at recoat time, or is it this and that. It's what does the customer want? Do they want a more semi-gloss satin? Do they want a sort of low luster satin? This is a low luster satin. And for me, that's way more of an important decision than, is it Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore? What's the recoat time? This and that. I don't care what the recoat time is. If I had the best enamels in the world and they took a week to recoat, I would use those in a second. If they cost $400 a gallon, but if they were good for 100 years, they went on beautifully and they look like nothing else on earth, I would go to that in a second. But this is another tool at my disposal now for this. And now, especially when the recoat times get a little bit lower, that's also another added sort of, this is the perfect example. This is sort of the highest realization of a product like this. When you're up in northern Minnesota, normally I would just go to another project and do some other recoating, this and that. We're stuck here. We're 3.5, 4 hours from home. We're away from our families. We want to do as much work as possible. We can maintain the highest quality finishes in the United States while doing them quickly here. So this is, in formulating this project and coming up with this partnership with Sherwin-Williams for this job, it was a perfect thing. I thought, I want to showcase the best that Sherwin-Williams has with my methods, because obviously I might do things a little more unique. I want to do inside, I want to do outside, and here's this brand new trim enamel that's really cool and interesting, and let's use it as a showcase house. So cashmere on the walls, absolutely love using that paint. I would say the only downside with the cashmere is that it tends to not cover as well as some other paints. Now, again, it's a lesser of two evils. It lays out so smooth. These walls are as close to a traditional hand-applied plaster wall that I can get. We sand them after the primer, we clean them all up, and 2 coats of the low luster cashmere, and it is so buttery smooth, these things. It's just beautiful. And we came up with a monotone sort of antique white cream scheme throughout. There's so many interesting architectural details, not to mention caribou heads, that this is an art gallery. You can see some of the owners own oil paintings behind me here. This is an art gallery. We do not need to wow people with color. It's mainly a showcase for the architecture of this house and some of the really cool artwork that these homeowners do. So let's see, let's scroll through, see if anybody's got any questions here. Appreciate everybody for watching here. And if you want to, if you want me to discuss a topic, if you want me to give you a treatise on some certain thing, if you're curious about a side of the business, entrepreneurship, marketing, apprenticeship, whatever, this is a place for discussion. You can private message me as well with your questions. Don't have to use your name, or if you want to suggest a topic for a show, we can do that too. So it's nice to come up here and you find your own mugs at a job site here. So nice to be away from home and have the comforts of home. So Mark Johnston, wonderful restoration consultant. Thank you for watching. Katie Aldridge, thank you for watching. Shane, thank you for watching, my friend. Tom Musil from New Prague, thank you for watching. Christine from the PDCA, thank you. Cappuccino, thank you for watching. Phil Kirkup, I do appreciate it. Alex Wendt, if I wasn't doing what I was doing, I would do what Alex is doing. He travels the country restoring churches. That's just beautiful. I love watching the feed there. And if you guys want to see some of the most beautiful job site pictures you've ever seen, Ecclesiastical Studios or Alex Wendt, follow them. It's just awesome. Christine O'Donnell, I'm jealous. Yeah, this is pure masterpiece up here. I mean, this lake is crystal clear down to about 10-12 feet, and I took the canoe out in the wee hours when the fog was still out. It was just beautiful. So Chris Shank, thank you for watching as well, even if you're forced to by your work. John Anderson, awesome contractor. John and his brother actually did the carpentry part of the restoration on the yellow farmhouse that I won my PIP award from last year. So John, super young, progressive contractor, and him and his brother are some of the nicest people I've ever met, and they do phenomenal work. Shaka Zulu, old Army friend, thank you very much. Nick May, homeowners don't want to be named. They're asking what city or where the cabin is, so I just have to respect that because I'm in their house now, and if I want to come up here, I have to respect that. So I hope you can understand. Phil Preston, thanks for watching. Tim Asselton, thank you. Matthew Ball, thanks for watching. Calvin, awesome Calvin Pate, thank you so much for watching. Awesome history. Rita Ambrose, thank you so much for watching. Past client of mine. Marcos Torres, Douglas, DSEs, Tamara Jackson. I really appreciate you guys watching this. This is I hope it's fun for you as it is for me. Ansley Peters, Daniel Peterson, thank you. Derek Anslem, thank you for all your interaction online this last week too. It's been kind of fun to mix it up a little bit. So Joe Elmore, Renan Schwantz, thank you for watching. Anthony Cade, as usual, always fun to watch your social media. Christine, wow, Chris Shank, are you excited to be watching? I think the thumbs up button on Chris's phone got stuck, or he put a piece of chewing gum on it or something. So Jesse Kranick, thank you for watching. Ron Ramsden as well, thank you for watching. It's not just me. Crystal Shetka, thank you for watching. Andy Tupi as well, another local, thank you so much. Juliano Alcantara, my good friend from down in Brazil. It looks like you got some hands on some Graco equipment recently, and it's been fun to watch you mix it up with some sprayers. So Jim Callahan, a past apprentice, a charter member of the #Mug Club. Juliano, Brazil. Efren Medina, thank you for watching. Kristen Coons, thank you so much. Chris Stafford, always fun to chat on social media too. Fun watching. I'm jealous of your seaside residence there. Looks like you and your boy have a lot of fun. Jordi Rodriguez, Argalas, thank you for watching. Pat Johnson. Stu Nikolai, good friend from New Prague there. Tamara Jackson, have you ever had someone say, surprise me with color? The 1800s farmhouse that I restored last year with my apprentices, that I won 2 national painting awards for. The homeowners basically said, hey, do whatever you want, just run it by us before we do that. And obviously, when people say that, I always ask for more input, just in case there's something they completely don't like. And I also warn them that my home is orange, so you're dealing with somebody who likes unique, historic, if you let me choose your colors, you will get something no one else in the country has. It's going to be unique, but it will be rooted in some sort of historic context. Even if you have a modernist house, there is a context to all that stuff. So I love doing that, but I never surprise the people. I always run it by them before I do it. So Jane Kavanaugh, and those are super fun to do, by the way, Tamara. Jane Cram, thank you for watching. Ryan Schaust. Ryan Amato, thank you for watching. Gustavo, thank you for watching. His profile picture has the brand new Ask a Painter shirt. I love seeing that. Price Messick, it's fun watching you guys too. Price, it seems like you and my cousin are on a constant vacation. You go to some of the coolest places. Mary Bush, thank you for watching. Matt Ambule, my old squad leader from the Army, still kicking it. Kenneth Sizemore, thank you for watching. Judy Sapleka, another local. Bugsy Aguirre, thank you for watching. Wanderley, I do appreciate all you watching. Angela Sebastina, Gene Holland, honesty and clear communication is the way to go. I couldn't agree more. All with the goal of gaining trust. So, Kay Traxler, thank you for watching. Ursula Badeau, I do appreciate it. Tom Shepard, as usual, frequent watcher. Mike Crago, thank you for watching. The great Dave Scaturo, a super interesting paint company he runs. I love following him. Ben TG, local theater fella. Really nice theater that he runs down in New Prague there. Paul Schmidt, thank you for watching. Todd Hill, as usual. John Busick, I do appreciate it. Wes, my friendly Sherwin-Williams rep, thank you for watching as well. Jack Frost. Jason Witt, local home builder, thank you for watching. Mark Johnson, here's a question for you. What's the best paint finish for areas that get hot? I'm thinking in particular of doors behind storm doors that get the whole greenhouse thing going. I actually dealt with this question twice in the last 2 weeks here. I've seen doors. We have people like black doors. They also like storm doors, glass doors over the front. They can either have screens or glass. If you paint your steel door black, it's facing south. You put a glass door there, you will cook the adhesive or the foam right out of that door and it'll actually warp it. The best thing, the paint will really, obviously use the finest, use the Benjamin Moore Aura, use the Sherwin-Williams Duration, Emerald, use the best paint you can, but you're gonna have to moderate your color if you have that storm door there because you're basically cooking your door. North side of the house, at least in my neck of the woods, probably not an issue. South side of the house, you definitely have to take it easy on the color or get rid of your storm door. Lesser of two evils. So Mark, thank you so much. Mr. Bento, thank you very much. Ahmed Ali, thank you for watching. Matt Bearbach, another local. Shane, excellent response. You can always get better at everything. Even Warren Buffett has a mentor. That's true. And it doesn't have to be a formal mentor, doesn't have to be a formal coach. Just get perspective. Figure out what everybody else does and figure out whether it's better than yours or worse than yours, and then move forward. So thank you for that. Jill Solheim, thank you for watching. Alyssa Agan. Juan Cubero, thank you for watching. Andy Chadwick, local fishing buddy. Daryl Bauer, great local realtor, thank you for that. Christy Mock, I appreciate you watching. Wes, awesome show today, thank you so much. And Wes, thanks for partnering on all this here. This is just a phenomenal project, and one I hope to turn in for some awards if people are interested this next year. So Josh Erickson, thank you very much. Parker, one of my apprentices. Juanita, thank you for watching as usual. And Jeremy Bramlett, thank you for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. I'm getting back to fishing and swimming with my family. We're waiting on lunch here, and we'll see you guys next week.